through Glenlivet, for those whiskey lovers amongst you. I came through Glenmorangie yesterday when I was doing the North Coast. They're all tucked away, these little distilleries, and it always surprises me because they're quite well known names, but they're tiny places that that these distilleries live in. Wow, now that's another corking view. Let's drink that one in while we're on the subject of whiskey. Beautiful. Right. Oh, this is all very nice. This is Tomintoul. Aha. The Glenlivet. Let's go that way. Right, I'm heading towards Cockbridge. Who's sniggering in the back? So this area I'm snaking up to now is the Lecht, which is another one of the Scottish ski resorts. I haven't actually skied here, I have to say, but I can see the one of the drag lifts just up there on the right. No snow up here now though. My word, it certainly feels cold. What a great road though. Yeah. God, this takes me back. I haven't skied in Scotland for 25-30 years, and when I did, it didn't look much different. I remember the infrastructure being these drag lifts, and actually there's a chairlift there, but they're pretty old school compared to the stuff you get in the mainstream ski resorts in Europe. Nonetheless, the fact you can ski here at all, it's great. Some piste machines, brilliant. Cafe bar open, shall I? Oh, let's go a bit further. Oh, great fun. Never mind the skiing, look at these epic roads. Wow, it is blowing a gale up here now. What a place, another of those really exposed, bleak sort of landscapes. In the winter must be something else. Love these roadside poles as well, so you know where the road is when it's all covered in snow. Let's check what our elevation is up here. 1,883 feet I'm descending, so pretty high road this one. Wow, pretty steep as well. Just 5 degrees up here. Any colder and it wouldn't be a lot of fun. At least it's not raining though, eh? Some proper hairpins up here. This one should come down the side of the mountain, the wind drops a little bit, which is nice. Come on, Mr. Beamer. No sniggering. Okay, this is my next significant turning point. I'll just cut that corner. Heading to Balata and Braemar, where I'm hoping a warm tea shoppy will be awaiting my arrival. It's fun when you do these tours and you do these tourist routes that everybody aims for, how you keep coming across the same people. So I just passed a little sort of rest stop on the left, and there was all the guys in the fluorescent jackets, the fellow with the scooter and the bikes I was following earlier miles ago, and now I've just caught up with this little, I think it's a Morgan ahead, and I passed him some, I don't know, about 15-20 miles ago when he was parked up taking some photographs, and I've caught him up again. I'll probably see them all in the same tea shop when I get to Braemar. What a stunning place to bring your Morgan there, eh? Lovely road this. It's the B976 now for future reference. It just ribbons through this fantastic valley across the Cairngorms. Wonderful. Well, another brave soul. That's a 20% hill he's about to cycle up. So it's absolutely gorgeous down here, but we're back onto one of these flipping single carriage roads with passing places that I hate. Luckily I haven't got that far to go to Braemar on my lunch stop. It's a completely different character to where I was yesterday though, up on the west. It's a bit like a different country. I love it that you can stand up on the GS and stretch your legs. Thank you. I have to say, one of the things I've noticed with the cars throughout Scotland here, I don't know if it's tourists or locals, probably locals, but they tend to be very aware of bikes, and most people just pull out the way for you. It's completely different to England, where they tend to have a go at you, see if they can get you off the bike, whereas here people just give you plenty of space. It's very refreshing. Well, this is a different sort of landscape again from any that I've been in on this trip so far. Forested land, beautiful little glade that I'm going through here. Dropped down height wise now quite a bit, and it's hence the temperature's risen to 9 degrees. It's quite comfortable now. Absolutely beautiful. This reminds me a bit of riding through the Rockies in Canada. Lovely. Well, it's like this, you could just settle in on your bike and just ride all day long, which is a bit of luck really, because that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. Okay, I'm just coming into the town of Braemar now, and on my right there is Braemar Castle, one of many of those sorts of castles that you find in this part of Scotland that you can go and have a look around. A vague feeling I might have been around that one actually on a previous visit. Looks familiar, but then they all look kind of like that. Right, I need to go and find a little tea shoppy. I think it's time for brunch. Fellow biker types. My chaps. Closed. Bother. Okay. Okay, thank you Braemar. Nice little healthy lunch there. Many bikers, obviously a popular spot. I ended up going to the Bothy, which is a bit of a monopoly on at the moment, because for some reason the other little cafes there are all shut for one reason or other. Very strange. Okay, so the last leg through the Cairngorms then. Continuing to head down south towards Perth now on the A93, and hopefully some more nice scenery just as we head down through the other ski areas towards Glenshee and that sort of direction. So stick around, stay tuned, let's see what we can find. This valley's got echoes of Glencoe over it again. Just a massive wide valley with this great road running through the middle. Once again I find myself in an impromptu bike convoy stuck behind a white van, man. I love this little sign here, like an AA man on a motorcycle from the 1950s. Apparently there's a lot of them ride these roads, so you've got to look out for them. So what we got here, we got a Harley of some sort at the front, and then I'm not sure what the Michelin man is riding. Can I get a side view? Nope. Come on lads, let's take that van. So we're having some sports bike fun. Excellent. Tell you what though, you don't need a sports bike to enjoy these roads. These big old Beamers are fantastic for this. You can really chuck them about. Oh, look at this batch. 4 of them. Let's give them the whole Missenden Flyer flashy lights. Got away from one of them at least. Wow, what a fabulous road. Coming to one of the other ski areas now. This could well be Glenshee actually. This is one that I have skied. I vaguely remember that green hut halfway up the hill. Sadly, the snow has long since left, and the ski season with it. Let's have a look, see what this is when I get here. Yeah, this is the Glenshee ski area. Well, I had a great holiday here some years back, many years ago, 25 years ago. I had a whole week skiing here, and it was absolutely fantastic. It's one of those years when the snow was great. Oh, it's just brilliant. It just looks completely different with no snow on it. Very strange skiing ski resorts without snow on. Anyway, I digress. I'm feeling my ears popping a little bit. I guess we must be in a climb, so let's check out the elevation. Oops, there we go. 2,200 feet in climbing. This road is amazing. Now, years ago when I came skiing here, I used to have an old Vauxhall Cavalier, which has nothing to do with the story actually, because what it was a windy day actually. One of the days in the week they had to close the ski resort because it was so windy, and this road was impassable with snow. And I remember waiting in a car park down the bottom here somewhere for it to reopen, and it was so windy. There was a Mini parked in front of us, and somebody got out the Mini to go and have a wee. They opened the doors of the Mini. It was so windy the Mini blew forward in the snow on the because it was slippery. Absolutely incredible. It sounds amazing, but that's absolutely true. It was that windy you could barely stand up. Oh, look at these scooters, loads of them. Hello chaps. Oh, they smell good. Wonder if that was the car park there. Could have been. And in fact that day they never did open the ski slopes, and we ended up driving back down here, and there was an old lodge somewhere down here on the right hand side if I remember right. An amazing pub, and inside was a classic Scotsman barman with big red hair, red beard, wearing a kilt, and inside it was all open log fires, bearskin mats, and me and my wife, in fact we weren't married then, my girlfriend, we just settled in there for the day and had a splendid day, keeping warm by the log fire and soaking up the Scottish atmosphere. Brilliant, brilliant day. Little did I realise, almost 30 years later, I'll be coming down here on a motorcycle. amazing how the human brain works. I've forgotten all that stuff, but just seeing the ski centre there and this road just reminded me of that day. Fabulous. This is an awesome road. Oh, it's compressions and crests. Oh, I'm going to slow down a bit actually. I was getting a bit of air off the crest back there. Where's this going? Okay. I'm sure they build these roads with motorcyclists in mind. It's just a thrill ride. So you clear of these sheep. I guess they do a kamikaze. Woo! Oh! You've got to be careful on these crests because you really can get some air off them. Certainly the whole bike goes very light off the top of those crests. Great fun. But you've got to be careful. Well, I have to say the riding here through Glenshee has been absolutely amazing. And if you fancy a bit of riding in Scotland, you can't make it all the way up to the west coast, which is definitely my favourite part so far. But you can't make it all up there because it is a long way and takes a few days to get there, even if you're starting in Scotland. Then just head up to the Cairngorms here and ride through this sort of Braemar, Blairgowrie route. Fantastic roads, great scenery. In the summer it'd be amazing. Of course then I guess you get more traffic. Well, I think that road, the A93 through that bit of the Cairngorms is possibly one of the best roads of the whole route in terms of just riding enjoyment. There's just no straight bits on it. There are lots of sort of switchbacks, undulations. It's everything a good riding road should be, and also there's some great visibility through so you can see what was coming and sort of plan and weave your route through. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Had to really muscle the bike around the corners. Great fun. Oh, there we talk of some bikes. Hello lads. And more again. Street triple, good choice sir. No fun if like them you're stuck behind traffic, but when you've got the road to yourself like this, absolute hoot. Oh, more flying AA motorcycles for another half a mile. Disappointed I haven't seen any of those yet. Cheeky little corner. Ah, the Carter Sport will be fun. But it was great while it lasted. Hello sir. Behind me. Phew! That was quite a ride through there. Loved it. Time now to get the old feet up on the engine bars. The engine bar leg rests. Just chill out a bit. Weather's turned out lovely again. Could be warmer, but having said that, it's 11.5 degrees. I didn't think it was going to reach that today. Okay, so this is just coming into the town of Blairgowrie, which is just on the sort of southern bit of the Cairngorms. This is one of the main towns in the area actually, if not the main town. That's where I stayed all those years ago when I had that Glenshee skiing holiday. I wonder if I'll spot the hotel I stayed in. Yeah, there it is, the Angus Hotel. Wow, that's where I stayed all those years ago. Brilliant. Well, I'm now out of the Cairngorms National Park, just about 12 miles north of Perth, which is my next waypoint. And then after that I'll be heading towards Dunfermline, and that's the kind of official end of the North Coast 500. And effectively my touring route for these last 4 days. It's been absolutely cracking. I think the highlight for me, well, there's been loads of highlights, but in terms of spectacularness, the highlights of course have to be that northwestern part of Scotland from Ullapool up to Durness was absolutely amazing. The roads weren't the best to ride, but the scenery was just absolutely cracking. And then some of the best riding roads are actually been some of the ones I've done today through the Cairngorms there. That road from Glenshee down to Blairgowrie was absolutely amazing. Thoroughly enjoyed it. You can tell I'm getting back to civilization now because the mountains have got lower, the trees have got greener, and the temperature's risen. It's 14 degrees now. Positively tropical compared to what it's been like, and really ideal riding weather now. So I'm just going to crack on down to Perth and then Dunfermline and then onwards to Edinburgh for my night stop. I imagine there won't be too much more to show you now, but speak to you when I get down there. So just coming into the city of Perth now, or Perth as it's known locally. The world's most remote city, if I'm not mistaken. Perhaps that's not this Perth. Okay, so the next waypoint on my route south towards Edinburgh is Dunfermline, some 30 miles south. Speak to you nearer there. Another amazing bridge to go over. Yellow warning, snow Monday. Great. It's just a bizarre little arrangement to get onto the bridge. So, fully fueled up and ready for the last leg of the day to the hotel. Just a quick blat on the M90 now to Edinburgh. Then I'm just going to ride on past there to Livingston, which is where my hotel's booked, and catch up with you there for a review of today. Just passing the Dunfermline turn-off now, and that's the official end of the North Coast 500. So that's that one in the bag, the North Coast 500 done. And of course I've done the extended version MTN's North Coast 767, so that's a little tick in that box. One more highlight for me, of course, as we approach Edinburgh, and that is the crossing of the mighty Forth Bridge, which you can see ahead now. It looks splendid. In fact, I think there are 3 bridges that cross here now. They're not called the 5th, 6th and 7th. So that's the new bridge that's being built, and it's going to take the bulk of the traffic in the future, the first one, because the second bridge that you can see is starting to get to the end of its life. It was one of the first suspension bridges of that design. In fact, there are 2 made of that design. I think the other one was in Dakota, and that's the famous one that you see that gets destructed in that wind when it hits its resonant frequency. It's exactly the same design as that bridge, which of course worried the engineers here. So this one's been specially strengthened to avoid that, but it has now reached the point at which they believe the fatigue life of that bridge is coming to an end, and I think what's going to happen is that bridge is just going to take public transport only once this new one opens. The new one certainly looks amazing. And yeah, it's interesting, that bridge that disintegrated in Dakota of the same design, although it's quite windy there, in fact it's a lot more windy here. So it's kind of remarkable that it was that one that destructed and not this one first. But there we go, that's what's happened. Of course, when that did go, and there are YouTube videos I'm sure of it, this one was closed and was immediately strengthened, so that can't happen apparently. Anyway, and then to my left is the Forth Rail Bridge, which is an iconic structure of Edinburgh. Actually quite something now with these 3 bridges spanning. Yeah, the new bridge does look good. Somewhat reminiscent of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. Similar sort of size, it feels, albeit not the same colour. You have to look at the rail bridge for that. Signal Orange, I believe it's called. Well, that's what the San Francisco one's called. The colour is called, I should say. The Edinburgh rail bridge is probably just red lead to stop it rusting. Still cracking view nonetheless. Right, let's crack on to my hotel. Beautiful car here, don't know what it is. Absolute stunner. It's the Curie Ecos liveried car. Is it a Jaguar? Don't know. Could be. And what looks like an Austin Healey Sprite, perhaps. And this is my hotel. Played it safe this time. Went from Mercure. Stayed in Mercures many times. Okay, nothing special, but they're usually okay. So let's see what this has got. Hey folks, so made it to the hotel, glad to say. Not so much of a lengthy day today on the bike, so quite, you know, feeling quite chilled. Glad to say, hotel is absolutely perfect. I'm at a Mercure, as I mentioned, and you know, I've stayed at Mercures all over Europe, and they've never been bad. So this one, actually a proper hotel room as opposed to last night's, and only £5 more than last night's. Can you believe that? Anyway, let's park that. So yeah, good day on the bike again today. The Cairngorms was lovely. Not as spectacular as that sort of top left-hand bit of Scotland, but nonetheless, the roads were just brilliant biking roads. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I kept dry. And at one point, it reached 14 degrees, so it's quite warm as well. So just got the massive slog home now tomorrow. So I'm going to get myself showered, get my head down early, and crack on tomorrow. I won't video tomorrow much again, if at all, because it's all motorway stuff. But once I get home, I'll sort of take you through the things I've learnt about touring on the GS this time round, and any little hints and tips that if you're thinking about doing a similar tour, they might be of use to you. Okay, I'll speak to you hopefully next time. I shall be in Great Missenden. Hey folks, and so as if by magic, I'm back in Buckinghamshire, back in Great Missenden. Long down the bike again today, 400 miles exactly. I left at 9:10, left just south of Edinburgh, where I was staying, 9:10, got home at 3 to 4. So it took me 6 3/4 hours, including stops, to get back. So I think that was pretty good going actually. I was quite pleased with that, but I wasn't hanging around, mind you. But anyway, right down the bike. Bike now all back in the garage again. I've unloaded. I've got to give her a thorough clean now. If you look at her, this is not you know, this is not the state that I like to leave my bike in. So you can tell what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I'm going to give it you know, a really thorough clean. Anyway, I just thought it might be worth just recapping some of the sort of lessons I learnt from this trip. So I made a few notes as I went. I've got on my phone here some things that might be useful if you're thinking of doing a similar sort of trip in the future. So first thing was, like with all these trips, I packed too much stuff, and in fact I worked out that actually things like t-shirts and stuff, because you're wearing your biker gear, you don't need to take loads of t-shirts. You don't need one a day. You just wear it in the evening if you're going to go for a, you know, a pub meal or something. And in fact, one t-shirt every 3 days is ample, I've found. These are in no particular order, by the way. These are just things that occurred to me as I went. When you're planning the route, just consider the types of road that you're going to be riding on when you're considering mileages. So for example, I thought in my mind I could do sort of you know, 300 miles a day easily, but as it turns out, on the motorways going up to Scotland and back, 400 miles was relatively straightforward because you're on fast, easy roads. But when I was up in the wilds of Scotland, doing 250, 300 miles was an effort. So when you're planning, obviously everybody's a bit different, but for me, I think in the future I'll be planning for a 200 mile day if I'm in the countryside, and 400 to 500 miles if I'm on motorways. So just consider the types of roads you're on as well as the mileages. That was something I definitely learned. It's hard going on single track roads. It takes you forever. Don't tour Scotland in April. Go later in the year. I mean, it was a bit cold and I did get a bit wet on occasions, and had the weather been nicer, it would have been so much better. I love the trip, it was brilliant, but a bit better weather would be nice. So go in the peak, ignore the midges, go in July or something. It would be my advice. Don't tour Scotland on a bobber. Fuel range is a real issue. That you can't afford to miss petrol stations when you're out there. Luckily the GS got pretty good range. You can do 200 miles to a tank, but even with that I was finding that if I went past the fuel station when I was up in the northwest, I'd be in trouble. So you've got to plan for fuel accordingly. What else?
Scotland is worth several tours, I wrote here. The northwest was definitely the best, I thought, in terms of scenery, but some of the best roads are actually in the Cairngorms. And also I didn't do the islands on the Western Isles, so I'm definitely going to have to go back and do that. My RST kit worked a treat. Turned out it was completely waterproof. Went through some pretty heavy rain, and I didn't get wet at all, though I did get a bit cold with the wind chill. I found the collar was a bit uncomfortable as well, actually. I got a bit of scuffing from the Velcro, if you know what I mean. Forget camping if doing big miles. I'm so glad I didn't camp in the end, and I went for the hotel option. I was so tired at the end of each day. I was doing 10 hours on the bike for 5 days solid or thereabouts. And you are knackered at the end of that. You don't want to be putting up a tent, especially this time of year. Might be different in the summer, but I think I'll save any ideas of camping for when I go down to the south of Europe when the weather's a bit warmer. And last but not least, something I knew anyway, but it's just this trip really reaffirmed for me. The GS is just a brilliant touring motorcycle. I mean, it can do big miles, it's got a good range, it can carry loads of kit, it's comfortable, it's got plenty of power, and it's fun as well to ride if you want to. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, sort of fallen back in love with the GS a bit. Not I'd fallen out of love, but yeah, it really did show its mettle these last 5 days. I've had a fabulous tour. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed coming along, and I do encourage you to do something similar yourself. If you're half interested, then Scotland is a magnificent country to visit. It's I think that's probably the best bike tour I've ever done to date. That's how good it was. Okay, look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been the Mr. Fly. Cheerio.